Hey there, heroes. Hope you had a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good night, wherever you guys are listening. You are currently listening to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. We've been reviewing My Hero Academia all season long. Joining me, as always, is co-host and my great friend, Isak Wolf. He unlocked Black Whip recently. I saw his username. So, Isak, how you been, man?
I've been doing good. Before we started the recording, I was watching The Way of the House Husband on Netflix, and it's quite hilarious.
I've heard of that one. I need to check that out one day. Nice.
It's in short, it's about the legendary Yasuka gang member that ends up being a household man after he marries and starts a new life, so to speak. And it's a skits series.
I saw the trailer for that. I really want to check it out. Yeah, it looks really good.
It's only 5 episodes so far, but it's gonna get more episodes.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's good.
Man.
It just came. What were you gonna say, Mike?
No, I'm just gonna say I'm excited to check it out. I didn't even know it was out yet.
Yeah, it's been out for a while, and I guess it's I guess we mount this recording and not go too long after midnight.
Good grief, man. So if you guys didn't know, we are recording episode 101, Have a Merry Christmas, and episode 102, Off to Endeavor's Agency, because we missed last week because of Juneteenth and Father's Day and stuff. So we're going to be reviewing more than one episode. Also joining Isak and I is our great friend, bringing the Geekly Goods himself, Leo Rydel. Welcome back, Leo. How you been?
Hey, been good, guys. Isak, what was that you were talking about? What was that? An anime coming up?
Yeah, it's an anime. It's a 5-episode anime on Netflix. The Way of the House Husband.
Oh, cool. I thought you said something about an anime with a chick named Jessica, and I was like, what? Could not follow.
What?
Man, what's up, guys? I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah, I didn't watch the My Hero Christmas episode, but definitely excited to talk about the Endeavor's Agency. And man, these 2 chapters, ooh, they were good, y'all. Our boys growing up.
Guys, those manga chapters are fire. We are not going to ruin that for you anime onlys, though. So Isak and I are just going to briefly touch on this Christmas episode. Again, episode 101, Have a Merry Christmas. I think it's a missed opportunity not to call it Have an Airy Christmas, but whatever. So in this episode, Mount Lady comes over to teach the kids how to do proper interviews, because after Bakugo and Todoroki stopped that robbery in episode 100, we see that Bakugo is awful at interviews. So Mount Lady and Midnight.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, I'm being nice to our good boy here, Lord Explosion Murder. But Kacha needs to improve. We also spend some time with Aerie. It's Christmas, so we have some holiday hijinks there. And yeah, we find out that they need to do mandatory work studies. The Hero Safety Commission feels that they need to get these kids trained up because of Hawks' findings in his investigation in the League of Villains. Also, small tidbit, Best Genus is missing. That's not explained in episode 101, so we'll talk about that when we get to episode 102. But Isak, what did you think of the Christmas special?
Well, Aerie is adorable. What else to talk about with that episode?
There's a couple things to talk about, but this is a family show, so. Guys.
Good grief, Mike.
I'm just saying, the fan service went to level 9,000 for no reason.
You have a point there.
Got that yummy, 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 yummy.
Yeah, but this episode was fun. It's as close to a filler as you can get with My Hero because this is manga canon, but it served no purpose except for the last after credit scene where Shoto's all like, "You guys want to intern with the #1 hero?" End of the episode, right?
Yeah.
It was a fun time, but yeah, it didn't add much narratively.
like we talked, I don't like we talked about. I don't know if it was on your channel, Leo, or on here, but it was sort of like the spring festival, just a palate cleanser before the big stuff happening, so to speak.
Yeah,
If
which
that
goes
makes
back
any
to
sense.
us skipping an arc and glancing. Boring. Wow. But no, it goes back to us skipping the MVA stuff. This would have been that palate cleanser, but rearranging the order of the story makes it a little weird, and that makes episode 102 feel a little strange as well. So we're going to just skip over to that. Leo, you can wake up now. I know you fell asleep when we were talking about that Christmas episode. So, yeah, episode 101 was Have a Merry Christmas. Episode 102 is Off to Endeavor's Agency. So the big three, Kacchan, Midoriya, Shoto, are interning with the new number one hero, Endeavor. We learned some information in this episode, like the Meta Liberation Army is supposed to attack within 4 months. We also meet Endeavor's sidekick, Burnin. And Slide and Go, the character we met in episode 100, is working with Hawks and the Liberation alongside a mysterious hacker. We don't have any information there. This was a Hawks-heavy episode, and Leo, I'm going to start with you since you actually watched this one. What do you think's going on there, and did you enjoy this episode?
Yeah, I like this episode. I think it was like a nice clue into what we're going to go into next. Having read the manga, I kind of know where things are going, but I don't want to spoil. Yeah, I like this episode. I like that our new big three, if you will, get to show up with Endeavor.
Yeah.
And Hawks is like quicker than them. That was a fun little tidbit. And Bakugo's like, no, I think I was faster than you. Pretty good little episode, but yeah, I could tell, we're inching towards the Liberation Army. Over 100,000, fellas.
That is a massive army. And it goes back to them wanting these kids, right, to do these internships because they know something's coming and they want them to be ready. That's exciting.
Yeah, and I don't think did they ever specify a number in the manga? I mean,
it's been a year. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't really remember like these chain of events, but like, gotta get these boys trained up pretty quickly because it is on the way.
So I feel like it's fair to mention now in the anime only discussion that yes, they're rearranging the order of the stories. So do you think they did a good job by telling us about the Liberation Army and their numbers before, going backwards and like setting that up organically?
Yeah, I kind of like that because it does give you a bit of a clue as to how big that army is going to be. Because I don't think in the manga, I don't think they ever specify like a number or anything, at least maybe not until this set of events, which is after a certain storyline. But I think it's nice to kind of like, telecast what's going to happen.
Isaac, what do you think?
I think Leo is pretty much spot on that one. I can see the whole concern of rearranging and make it not feel organic, but I feel that they made it work, so to speak.
Yeah, it works. I think because dancing around what that storyline actually is that we moved around, that was already kind of a flashback. So I think it's okay changing the order of the story, and it adds a new layer of mystery, right? And it goes back to Hawks. He's got this whole secret agent thing going, right? Where he's going undercover. And the episode prior, we mentioned Best Genius has gone missing. And we see something happen between those two. We see Hawks like pull out his sword in Best Genius' apartment. And it's like, things are getting heavy. Things are getting real. I don't know, guys. And just look at the intro for this episode. We have a new intro. So goodbye, number one by Dish. You will be missed, kind of.
Pretty tight. This intro was cool.
Yeah, this one was also the darkest intro we've had, or at least the most dramatic intro we've had in a long time. I think since All for One. I think that was Odd Future in like season 3.
Yeah.
I think that just shows the tone is shifting as well.
Oh yeah. What would you guys do if they skipped that arc?
I would, that gif of Ron Swanson throwing his computer in the dumpster? That'd be me.
I don't think they're going to ditch that arc. It's I wouldn't. Bones are smart enough to not to do a skip the golden pond arc. Yes, I haven't. Yes, I still hate that second season of The Promised Neverland, but what do I know?
He is still grieving, you guys. It's been months.
Dude, I love it. Dude, I love that manga.
Yeah,
that's rough, buddy.
I don't think you can really skip the next arc. It's so integral to the story. But I don't know. I'm getting impatient, y'all. Like, it should have been this arc. And here we are, like, setting up the next one before So I'm just kind of like, come on, man. Like, what would be kind of cool is if they did this episode and then they went right into that arc and then bounced back to the hero agency after.
That would make the most sense. I feel like, I feel like that would make the most sense because the arc that we're dancing around, guys, does not feature the kids that often. And so it might be good to split time between the two because it's like, even though they rearranged it, there's going to be like 8 episodes straight where we don't see Deku.
Right. And even if they want to kind of make them happen concurrently, that would still be all right. But
yeah,
like, let's get that in sooner than later.
Luckily, the Endeavor Agency arc, while one of my favorite stories in My Hero, it is only going to be like maybe 4 episodes max. It's just not that long of a story. So I do think ending with the MVA arc is good because that is the strongest arc out of the last 3 or 4. I mean, think about it. We had the Gentle Criminal arc, the Joint Training arc, the Endeavor Agency arc. It's like, that's a lot of school stuff. And My Hero Academia, I don't know if you guys noticed, it always had a good balance of the hero stuff and the school stuff. It always alternated. Like, season 1 was school. Season 2 was the sports festival. Then we had Stain. Season 3 was training camp. Then we had the All for One. And it's like each season always had a decent split. Overhaul, then Gentle Criminal in the festival. This season has just been internships and training, and you can kind of feel it bogging down a little bit. So I think ending with MVA would be really good and also give you a boss cliffhanger for season 6.
Yeah, chop. Like, it's kind of just all training for right now, and
right.
That's cool and all, but it's time to kind of split time a little and give us a little time on the other side of the story.
Definitely agree. Guys, did you have anything else on this specific episode, Off to Endeavor's Agency?
Well, to continue on Leo's point, it's probably, while this is, in my book, arguably the strongest episode of the season so far, it doesn't help that the entire season so far has just been training, so to speak.
Right.
This would, to some extent, you could argue that this would have been the perfect episode to start the season with, in comparison. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, like how each season had, like, the one arc is school, the other arc is hero work. But it also feels like, again, going back to how the season started, and this is the problem I've always had with the Joint Training arc. Rest in peace, we're finally past it. But it's just, we start off strong with Hawks, Endeavor, Mirko, Dabi, and then we just go away from that for 10 episodes, for 25 chapters of the manga, right? And so to go through that and then to take away the most exciting arc of the entire series, debatably, it just feels weird, one, as a manga reader, but two, also just as a viewer of the show, it feels boring. And this episode finally kind of brought back that sense of urgency with the book that Hawks is pushing on Endeavor of the Meta Liberation War, and it's finally getting interesting again.
Shall I be honest? The more I think about it, even with Black Whip in mind, I think you could have just removed that training arc, or rearrange it in somehow, and just switch it up so that he learns Black Whip some other way. Because how should I put it? If you watch the interactions on social media and all that, there isn't as much hype towards season 5 as it was in season 4, and it's much because of the whole slow start in my book.
You say that, and I get what you mean, but do we really want to risk My Hero changing manga canon and going with an anime only canon?
No.
Maybe,
right.
no.
So we're just gonna endure the joint training arc like we did in the manga, and then just move on.
I mean,
no anime only.
Yeah, good point. I was maybe they could have. I don't know. I was just thinking from an anime only perspective if what I would do. But yeah, you guys have a good point.
They could have scaled some stuff down if you want. If you really wanted to, you could have skipped like one of the battles or made it go a little quicker, like probably the first few, and then prolonged Deku and Bakugos to the length that they were.
Yeah,
but otherwise, like, no anime only stuff. You start getting in the weeds there.
Yeah, good point. I was just spitballing right now because, well, slow start, and I think that while it is a good series so far, has sort of hurt it right now. Hurt this season in comparison.
Oh, trust me. The Toonami crowd is really digging that arc. They just watched the Bakugo episode yesterday. And yeah, so I think people are watching it. It's just nothing to really talk about on social media, right? Like, people are still watching the show. So when they get to you know what, I think you're going to see a huge spike.
Could be. I was just thinking out loud, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I just have to say, Hawks is becoming the best character in this entire series. I love everything about him. I also like seeing Endeavor's agency and how many sidekicks he has. And Bakugo's tenacity of, so we just have to outwork all these guys, huh?
I mean, he has the energy of a hero.
He has the same energy as Burn, and it's kind of scary.
Who?
Burnin. She's Endeavor's sidekick. She had the green hair.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've got for this episode. I'm excited to see what they do next. This is a great arc. Rearranging it, hopefully it doesn't make things too confusing later on, but I think it's a good art.
Yeah,
I would agree. I mean, it's off to a good start here. We're kind of off to the races. Hopefully, we can move into MVA soon.
In 3 weeks, I'm banking on 3 weeks, going off of how many chapters they're adapting. They're adapting about 2 or 3 an episode.
Yeah, I think you are right about how long it will be.
Awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. That is our anime discussion. My Hero Academia is going to be on break next week, so we will catch you in 2 weeks' time. Have a great holiday weekend, and we will see you later. We're going to start talking manga spoilers. So, Isaac, hit them with the warning. It's spoilers.
Yeah, I'm just going to take up the spoiler tag, and happy midsummer, everybody.
Take care.
Take care.
Spoilers!
And here we go. What chapter was we on now again?
This is chapter 317, Scars, Blood, Filth. Where did our good friend Leo go?
Eh,
There you
I'm
are.
back.
you disappeared for whatever reason.
Yeah, I accidentally clicked out the wrong tab. My fault.
When the world
No
needed him
problem.
most, he vanished. Dang it. Okay, guys, chapter 317 is titled Scars, Blood, Filth. And that's pretty much all that's on Deku right now. After the explosion at the mansion, the heroes have to regroup, right? Thankfully, there were no casualties, even though we kind of speculated there might have been. It's probably because Danger Sense kicked in. Just going through some of the things that happened. Death Arm retires. He's one of the first heroes we ever meet in the series. So that was actually pretty huge to find out. And a lot of heroes are actually retiring. There's not enough cops. There's not enough heroes. They're basically on their own from here on out. And Deku is kind of struggling because he and All Might got attacked by yet another assassin. But Deku wins that battle before we even cut back to him. We start off with the other heroes. And so Deku continues to have these flashbacks, right? Of the day he learned of All Might's impending doom. He fears that All for One will eventually kill All Might, like Night Eye said, having a gruesome death. The words, "Now it's your turn," continue to haunt Deku. He feels with Fa Jin, Black Whip, Float, and the 45% output of One for All that he can take care of himself. So he walks away from All Might, which is just insane to me. All Might doesn't want him to be alone. He's like pleading with him not to leave. And he now sees how Night Eye felt all those years ago. We pan back after that entire interaction between the two, and we see that somebody was watching that entire discussion that they were having. And it's none other than Hero Killer Stain. Isaac, what the heck was this chapter?
Well, I'm going to take on the pessimistic route and all that. But I think this is going to be the last conversation that All Might and Deku is going to have while All Might is alive.
Good God.
He is going to have the next conversation when he becomes one of the previous ones, so to speak. Which
he's gonna get the Force Ghost treatment.
Yeah, he's gonna get the Force Ghost treatment. I don't think they will not talk at all at the end of everything. But I think it's going to be so that he dies before they can talk between four eyes like normal people again.
I can't handle that, man.
I mean, it feels like a setup for that with the whole thing. Also, is it just me, or does it feel like Stain is going to sort of like help Deku at the end of things?
I can see that. He does view Deku and All Might as true heroes. We've heard that. So
also, let's also remember he wanted the fake heroes to quote unquote stop being heroes, and now there's so many heroes that have retired. So he sort of got what he has wanted. If you really think about that.
Yeah,
and
it's funny because Stain was right. Looking back, it's like Stain was just right the entire time. His methods were wrong, but like, dang.
Yeah. So that's also why I think you would talk about the whole All Might and Night Eye thing, which is also why I think All Might is going to die before they are able to have a quote-unquote normal conversation again, because that would just do it full circle, because he has some All Might have some regrets for how he handled the relationship with Night Eye, so to speak.
The week after we said the death bells were away from All Might, you just had to bring them back in full force, didn't you, bud?
I mean, unless something drastic happen, I don't think. I actually think All Might is going to die. I hate to say it, but I think he's going to die.
Leo, what are your thoughts on 317? Do you agree with Isak there?
I don't know if this is necessarily the last conversation between the two of them, but I can agree with you that All Might is treading dangerous waters. Let's just say that. I think there's a lot of foreshadowing in the last few chapters that leads up to All Might's death. I mean, there's been a lot of, even All For One acknowledged Deku as the one now. It's your turn. And I want to say this was the chapter. Yeah, it was this chapter where he heard that phrase again. Or it might be the next chapter when he hears the phrase again, it's your turn.
He heard it in both.
Yeah, I'm like, all these phrases seem to be alluding to All Might ultimately passing. I think All Might kind of just wants to cradle Deku in his arms. You know, he's like his father. And the way that he raised him through One For All, he can't. It's hard for him to let go. Yeah. Even to this point, it's still hard for him to let go. And Deku's like shouldering everything, wants everybody to smile, but he's already like battered and beat down himself. I'm wondering though, when is he going to get to 100% comfortably? Because I feel like we're getting really far in the story here, and we're still kind of teetering along that 45, maybe 50 line. Oh, but he's 45, has access to multiple quirks. I'm kind of just like, all right, when are we going to get back to that airy 100% being comfortable doing that stuff?
I honestly don't think he ever will get to 100%.
Really? I kind of, if anything, it's probably going to be like the last few chapters.
Yeah. The reason I don't is because he has Fajin, right? Which was already giving him that pseudo 100%. Black Whip, Float, Danger Sense, his base 45% power. If he gets to 100%, like you said, it might be the very end, but I don't see a need for him to get that far with Fajin.
Remind me, Fajin, what does that do again?
That's like more the stockpile power. It's, Black Panther's suit. How you can repurpose energy.
Yep, it's that same concept. Okay, that's right. Because he exploded and did that with Lady Nagant. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see him at that 100% again, though. Because, like, I feel like that moment was a foreshadowing to, like, whoa, this is how powerful this guy is going to be. And I don't want to just go the whole series not getting to see him achieve that level on his own.
The thing is, isn't he kind of past that level, though, with the other quirks?
I would say maybe at that level, potentially, but, like, I wouldn't call him, like, being able to, what was that, like, 50 fists that was in the air? Like, I don't know if he can do all that.
That was such an awesome shot, too. Man, that was a great moment.
So good.
Go all JoJo Bizarre Adventure and all. Yeah, if the 50 fists in the air and all that jazz. Have you never seen JoJo?
Barely.
I've seen the memes. That's it.
Yeah. So I think you can see what I joke referenced them.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about this last panel on this page here. I'm looking at it now. It's the looking at him, you never guess he was a hero. And it's like he's scarier looking than Sting.
For real? Like by the way, is Sting, I don't think Sting's there to like kill All Might. Do you think that was that what you were thinking, Isaac?
No, I don't think he's going to be killed by Stain. I just think he's going to die in some way.
Yeah,
before.
I'm with you there.
Mm. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what Stain wants, why Stain is here. We just know that he saw this entire breakup, essentially, of these two. And it's like, it's crushing because you see what's going on as Deku's talking to All Might, right? He's saying that you don't need to tag along with me anymore. And then the panels, he sees Nana Shimura crying. He sees Shigaraki crying. He sees Gran Torino dying. And then it just goes back to, I need you to tell the world that I am here. And it's just like, he just leaves him behind because he doesn't want him to be hurt like those others were hurt. And it's like, it's crushing. It's crushing because you know he doesn't want to leave All Might, but he feels he has to for his safety because after what happened in that mansion, the chapter before, and what happened to Lady Nagant, All for One can kill anyone at any moment.
I just feel like All for One is about to pop up, y'all, and like end All Might. Like, would you be shocked? He's defenseless.
No,
Like in
I
the
wouldn't
next
be
chapter,
shocked.
he's quite a bit of ways away from All Might. Like, I don't know, man.
He could do that. He could do that to provoke Deku.
He could. I mean, yeah, that would be the only reason because he's already said he doesn't care about All Might anymore. So I don't think he's going to purposely go after him unless he does it just to piss off Midoriya.
That's what I'm thinking. Like to provoke Deku and make him realize, like, look who you working with here. Kind of just a way to just like, you know, show him his abilities.
Yeah, that can be something that happens. I think it'd be more powerful if Shigaraki's the one who would do it, simply because Deku is intent on saving Shigaraki. Shigaraki's entire motive was to kill All Might anyway. Would Deku still be willing to save Tomura if he killed All Might? I think that'd be more interesting of a conflict.
Well, where's he at, man? Like, where's he at? He's been missing for so long. I'm like, all right, well, All for One stepping up to the plate like he's the main guy again. Like, I don't know. Where the heck is Shigaraki at?
They've been doing our guy Tomura very, very dirty. That's why it's kind of annoying that Bones is also doing him dirty too.
It's like at the same time, we're just going to skip over your arc for a second.
Yep, we're just gonna you're not even gonna be in the intro that much. That should have been an MVA intro, by the way. But
right, what the hell?
It's like, well, we're just gonna keep focusing on Shoto and Bakugo and Deku. Anyway, I'm hoping that they rearrange that thing by the time MVA starts.
I mean, it's all for the fangirls. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm concerned. I'm just gonna say right now, since we're in the spoiler section of the cast, I'm concerned they're gonna skip it, guys. Like, I go ahead.
I don't think they are because they are hinting at the Meta Liberation Army, and we do see Redestro in the intro, right?
That's
Skeptic.
true. That's true.
So I think there's too many episodes left for them not to at least touch it. I just hope they don't skim through it. Like, you know, it's the bare bones version. I want the full experience.
Yeah, I don't want season 2 of the Promised Neverland either. Yeah, I haven't gone over it still. Okay.
Our guy is not into that Promised Neverland shit.
And all of
season 2, season 1 is amazing.
Season 1 is amazing. It's a shame it didn't get a second season. It was fire, man. So, but yeah, like this chapter was emotionally charged. I was so torn and heartbroken, really. And it's crazy because we've talked before in previous episodes about how Horikoshi has it kind of lining up with the anime. So on the same day, we see Mount Lady talking about publicity and being good in the public eye and like being very vain. She's also the only one here talking about how they need to protect Midoriya, right? And like seeing her character progression, seeing Endeavor's and Hawks also. It's just really intriguing, and it just makes the world feel completely different. We're only like 2 arcs removed from MVA and Endeavor's agency. But it feels like that war arc, so many things have just changed. It changed the entire landscape of the series.
It really did. I mean, it kind of flipped the series over on itself.
Right.
We went from this like heroic society where everybody could look up to these top 10 heroes and be and aspire to be like them to a society that has no confidence in heroes anymore. And heroes are retiring, and the spirit of being a hero is completely different.
Yeah, it's Deku's worst nightmare, honestly. And I think that's why seeing how he's responding and how he's reacting to all of this is the best thing that they could have done for his character, honestly.
Brooding Batman-like character now.
Exactly. Like, I still can't believe he left All Might. All Might, guys, the one person in the world he looked up to and admired, he just turned his back on him and went alone. It's wild.
I mean, he kind of did that because he wanted to protect him, though, so...
I mean, I'm not saying he didn't have good reasoning, but it's just like he has no confidence in really himself or even the other heroes to make sure nothing bad happens. That's what it's saying. His faith in hero society has also been broken. Otherwise, he'd feel like he and All Might can get through this together. But they clearly can't. That brings us to the next chapter, the one that came out this week, chapter 318, titled Reckless. So in this one, thank you, sir, for pulling that up. Reckless. So in this chapter, we see Endeavor calling Midoriya, and he's letting him know that more heroes are coming from overseas to support them because a lot of folks are quitting. It's going to be interesting to see those heroes from the other countries. We actually haven't really seen them in the main series. We've seen some American heroes in Vigilantes, the spinoff manga, which is also dope. You guys should check that out if you want. It's also on Viz. Endeavor, much like All Might, thinks Deku needs to rest. And even the other users of One for All want him to rest, but he just won't stop fighting. You know, the second user believes that Deku is doing the right thing. You can't just sit around while evil is running rampant, but Deku is running himself into the ground. Like, he's barely eating, he's barely sleeping. The other users, Nana and Banjo, are like, we need to stop this kid from hurting himself. And you can even see All Might's you can see All Might's vestige, who usually doesn't say anything, but he just looks very depressed, which I thought was an interesting touch. I don't know, guys. This chapter had so many moments. Deku fought a kaiju. Deku one-shotted a kaiju. We just sort of glanced over that. Then he saves this group of kids from some petty crime, right? And this is probably one of the most heartbreaking moments we've had recently, is that he always wanted to be a hero who saved people with a smile, right? To reassure them that things would be okay, like All Might. Yet here, the kids question if he's working with All for One. And they just kind of run away from him terrified because, as we said before, he looks nothing like a hero. And this is a very introspective part of the chapter, which I really loved. It's only 15 pages, but you got so much out of it. We see this inner monologue of Deku. He wants to find Shigaraki. Our first hint at Shigaraki's existence in I don't know how long. But it's like he wants to stop Shigaraki in the League of Villains. He wants to reunite with his classmates, with his mother, with his teachers. He wants to have the day where they can smile together once again. And we have this really powerful panel of all of Class 2A behind Midoriya as he drives towards his goal of defeating All for One and bringing society back to a sense of normalcy. Aries also featured here too. Adorable. But you can just feel that this is why he's not stopping. He wants to get back to the point where he is in the anime. And I think that's what makes that so gut-punching, that Christmas episode, is he's saying that in the episode, he straight up says, I can't wait to have more Christmases with you guys. And then this chapter comes out, and you're just a bawling mess. We also get another hitman after Midoriya, the dictator. He has the power to control other people's bodies, so he sends an army of civilians to attack Deku. Midoriya can't really fight back because he doesn't want to risk hurting the crowd. He doesn't have really any decent ranged attacks, because he can't use Air Force because he doesn't have his gloves because his suit is destroyed. Thankfully, in his greatest time of need, he's saved by none other than your favorite hero, Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite. Bakugo's on the phone with what we presume is the other members of Class 2A, telling them, we got them, boys. Leo?
And he didn't look pissed off.
No, he didn't. This is the first time, I think, ever. He just had like a stone cold, like almost calming presence to him. And Leo, I just want your thoughts on this one. This was a heavy chapter. What did you think of Bakugo returning to?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that Bakugo actually didn't look like Bakugo for once. And I'm like, whoa, he actually looks like he's got a calm demeanor. I'm very curious for the next chapter because I'm like, okay, what is his reaction really? Is that just a shot we got? Is he gonna knock Deku on the head? I also think it is interesting that the Vestiges acknowledged Bakugo. Because they were like, yeah, the one person that can help Izuku now is this kid. And I'm like, oh, so the Vestiges know about him. I wonder if there's some kind of connection there.
This brings us back to I don't know if you were on that episode, Leo, but this brings us back to the back you go theory of the second user. The second user looks like looks like Bakugo.
Yes,
right?
yes. Okay, that theory. And I'm like, he kind of does still.
Yeah.
Even in this chapter.
And so when Bakugo shows up, we see that one panel of he's the only one who reacts. It cuts back to the second user, and then it cuts back to Bakugo. It's just like, what are you hinting at?
He's like, this is me. That's because I did it.
I don't believe it's the time travel nonsense, but what I do think is, how in Avatar: The Last Airbender, for better or worse, they forced a connection between Aang and Zuko of
yeah, I think that could be it too. That guy is a descendant of Bakugo potentially.
Yeah, Bakugo is his great grandson or whatever, and it's in a way, you two have always been connected. And it's just sure.
I mean, I think that would be kind of funny. Oh yeah, the third user of One for All is Bakugo's great ancestor.
Right. Especially since do we know what his quirk is? We don't know what his quirk is, do we?
That user, I don't think so. I think that might be the only. Is he Fajin?
I think he might be Fajin. I don't think we ever found out whose quirk was Fajin. It might be the second or third. I don't remember.
So it will make sense if that user, his quirk was Fajin.
Right, because he also has the Bakugo style gauntlets too.
Ooh, y'all, look at this.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together. I have one thing, Isaac. You pointed out his demeanor. Also, he's not wearing his domino mask, right? So that's another thing that's kind of interesting. Is this the first time Bakugo's not wearing his mask and his hero costume? And if you look at Bakugo, his costume is kind of beat up. Not as much as Midoriya's, but it is. So I wonder if he's been following him almost this entire time, trying to catch up.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has.
Yeah, me neither.
I wouldn't.
But Isaac, what are your thoughts on this chapter?
Well, it certainly show a different view of society when it comes to heroes, like you said, and boy, do Deku needs some good night's sleep because he is going to. Because let's face it, if Bakugo hadn't arrived, he would been caught more than likely, considering how exhausted he was. Should I say?
One of these pages here, the civilians are attacking him, and they said, "It's not our fault. Our bodies aren't listening to us. We're not trying to hurt you." And the Deku just looks dead inside, and he just says, "I know. It's okay." It's just he's just getting jumped, and he just doesn't even look like he cares anymore. He looks like he's just so done.
So
which is why which is why I believe that if Bakugo get pissed off and wants to have Deku coming back, he could more than likely knock Deku out and bring him back. No questions asked, considering how tired he looked, honestly.
So I've been looking it up. It doesn't look like the second user that user's quirk hasn't been revealed. And that's Bakugo. That's the spiky hair user.
Gotcha.
Watch, he's gonna be using explosion, y'all.
It might as well. He's stolen Uraraka's quirk and Sero's quirk anyway. But might as well go for the trifecta.
Right, he's got them all. He's little did we know he's just like one big class 2A wrapped into one kid.
I wonder, who do you think is on the phone with Kachan? Do you think it is All Might after what happened last chapter? Or do you think, because we didn't mention it, but in the previous chapter, chapter 317, Endeavor gets a call from Shoto and he ignores the phone call. So do
I
you
think it's Uraraka.
Okay. That would make sense too.
Because I think they've probably been looking for him for a little while. And maybe waiting until they can track him down. Because let's be real here, if they just approached him, I don't think he would go back willingly. But this is like a good vulnerable moment to get him back, or at least try to. And if anything, I mean, this could even be them offering to work with him on the front lines.
Who saves the heroes, right?
Hey, there we go.
Exactly. And
it might be Ida too, but I think it would be like most endearing if it was Uraraka.
It could be just like a group message too, because he says he's here, guys. It's not like he just said he's here, Hiroshima, right?
Yeah, that's true. It could be the whole class 2A.
It goes back to, and I posted this on Twitter. You guys can look it at Novice Cinephile. But like it parallels this, one of my favorite panels from Nightwing, right? It's Nightwing realizes I have a lot of friends, and he remembers all those people who are close to him. It parallels Deku remembering his classmates. And in that Nightwing story, I'm not saying they're pulling anything from that. It's just a coincidence. But it's like in that Nightwing story, we eventually get the Bat family coming back to support Dick Grayson in the battle he's in. Here, it's kind of fitting that Bakugo shows up to save Midori's skin, and it's like, it could be his entire class, it could just be his closest friends. Uraraka would be really, really great and make the most sense, probably the only one who can get through to Midoriya in this moment, besides his own mother. And I don't think we're going to drag Mama Midoriya out to a battlefield.
Oh, God, I hope not. Good God, man.
Also,
these reckless villains. Oh, go ahead.
Where is Deku's dad? I mean, shouldn't we have meet him by now?
I mean, good point. Like, doesn't he exist? I mean, I think he works in the U.S., right, or something.
Yeah, he's been working overseas, but it's like not a phone call. Not like he didn't call them during the Christmas episode or during the New Year's episode.
Oh, like
I mean,
what if it's All Might? All along, his dad was All Might.
She said in a chapter that his father could use fires. Maybe it's Endeavor. Who knows?
His father can breathe fire. I feel like Endeavor doesn't breathe fire. Also, Horikoshi said that they're going to show us Midoriya's father before the end of the series. And considering where we are, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up within the next 2 months.
That'd be tight.
Maybe he's one of the heroes that comes from overseas.
I feel like Deku's dad being a hero would have come up, though, right?
Yeah, but considering, like you said, he works overseas and he is going to arrive. Wouldn't him being a hero overseas make some form of sense then? I don't know.
I'd say no, because Deku's inspiration to be a hero comes from All Might and not at all his father. I feel like if, at most he could be like a David Shield type of character where he's like making support items for them. But him being an outright hero, I don't think works this late in the game.
Yeah.
You could have did that in season 2 or something.
Yeah, it kind of will raise the question, like, where has he been this whole time then? Like, it almost seems like he would come back into the fray now, though, since there's like nobody around. Mm-hmm. I feel like if he heard the news, it'd be like, well, I can breathe fire, so I can, I can do something maybe.
Also, he should be in that movie because apparently Deku's wanted for murder.
Oh my god. Okay, if he doesn't pop back up to at least acknowledge his son is innocent, what kind of dad is that, bro? That's Goku level shit.
Not even Goku is that bad of a father.
Debatable.
Right. Hey, at least he's acknowledging his sons.
Well, Piccolo might as well be Gohan's dad. I mean, let's be real.
Very true.
But yeah, at least Goku acknowledged his son compared to Deku's dad that we haven't even heard about. Maybe he
not a peep. We haven't heard a peep, y'all.
I would have been fine if they were just divorced, but it's like he's still married to Inko. I don't understand that one.
Right. Yeah. Like, you ain't trying to talk with Mama Midoriya every now and then? Like, what is going on, man?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they are divorced and they haven't just said anything because that's the only thing that makes sense with, considering you never even talk with him.
Right. One thing I want to point out, guys, this is the third assassin that Deku has fought, Dictator. We didn't even get the name of the other guy. He just Detroit smashed into the ground last chapter. What do you think? How many folks do you think All For One's going to send at him? Because he sent Nagant and then Dictator and the nameless dude. That's 3 already. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, the question is, who all counts as an assassin? Was that Kaiju an assassin? Is there other people we haven't seen off screen? Like, at this point, it's like, how many people actually have come for Deku?
Yeah.
Good. We might be looking at 20, 25 by now.
It's crazy.
Because, like, I feel like he's trying to wear Deku out, and once he's, like, down and out, then that's when he's going to make the move.
That's kind of what their plan was with Shigaraki, too, wasn't it? During the war.
Yeah, we saw how that poorly worked out, didn't we?
Yeah, awful.
Also, where's Mirio, man? Where's Lemillion?
That's another thing. That could be somebody who could be coming to help him out too. Like that, I feel like a lot of them still have to stay back at the school because the school is doubling as a shelter.
Yeah, I don't know though. Like Lemillion need to be on the front lines. Like the whole little team they got with Best Genius, Deku, Endeavor, Hawks. Like you got to have Lemillion in there.
I mean, look at it also this way. He is sort of like Eri's big bro / bodyguard, and who does maybe all for one for all. Knows about her and wants her, and if he goes away, she's unprotected.
Isaac, if All For One goes after Eri, Deku is gonna go Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct. He's gonna unlock the Rinnegan. He's gonna get his Susanoo, and he's gonna beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense to have someone protecting her. That's what I mean.
No, he's gonna be like Kamehameha, mother effer, and he's just gonna unleash Fajin 100%.
I mean, yeah.
So you agreed that they should do a Jump Force Cannon and allow Goku to make him learn Kamehameha then?
God dang it! No.
No.
Jeez. Walked into that Jump Force reference. That was my fault. Dang it.
That is a good point, though, Isaac. Like, I agree with you now. I think if you took Mirio out of protecting Eri, in the Eraserhead, isn't he like in the hospital So like everybody's kind of like down and out for the most part.
He's missing a leg and an eye, isn't he?
Yeah, that battle did a number on him.
Awful. I'm just looking at the art in this chapter, and Deku's suit seems to get progressively worse each time we come back.
Yeah, it's just more and more raggedy. Like, how long do you guys think he's been fighting this whole time?
A couple of months at least.
Yeah, like 3-4 months.
Nonstop. And like looking at him, he looks like a monster. He looks like Venom or Spawn, really.
Yeah, he does. Like a symbiote has wrapped around him, and he just looks like he looks evil, but it is kind of like a good turning point of the chapter. And then Bakugo coming back when his mask is off. See something up, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Isaac's role of devil's advocate here, right? You know how we're excited that Kachan's back. Mm-hmm. What if that's Toga?
Wait, that ain't Toga. He's got the gauntlet.
Right. Toga can copy anyone's ability and their appearance.
Don't do that, Mike.
But I'm just saying, like, how crazy would it be? We think it's, hey, Bakugo's here to save Deku, and it's no, Toga luring him into a trap for All for One.
And see, you last time you assumed, what if the heroes all died in that explosion?
Hey, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm just saying hypotheticals.
Yeah, I mean, damn, that would. The eyes are a little suspect.
Honestly, when I saw the face at first, I thought it was Todoroki. Honestly, considering how calm he was in comparison to how Bakugo usually is.
His scar is healed.
Wait, has Toga seen Bakugo? Have they interacted?
They interacted when they kidnapped him in season 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would get
I don't know if she got his blood there, though. That's the thing. I mean, she could have got it when he was kidnapped. I don't know. But, yeah. I highly doubt that that's Toga. But I'm just saying, it would be wild if it was.
Oh, my God. My brain would explode. I couldn't handle that. Now that we talked about it, that second user, man, him and Bakugo got something going on.
Yeah, I didn't buy it at first, but now it's just like, okay, this is too obvious at this point.
He got the spiky hair. There's that panel. He's just kind of looking like, if there's anything that could bolster Izuku Midoriya now, it would be. And as Bakugo, like, okay, how did you know, my man? Like.
I don't know. Maybe Raka would be a better choice. No, I'm not gonna go there. Sorry.
I saw that coming 10 minutes ago. I knew you were gonna go there. Don't make it weird, man.
It's me we're talking about.
I think though this could even be a turning point for Bakugo. What if he's kind of I almost wonder if they're gonna sort of shift his character into being like the onlooker of One for All. I don't really know. He said it in a chapter or something, like he was like the protector. Yeah, like the protector of One for All. And what if instead of like making them linked by blood, it's just that's the role that the first user and second user had with one another. Like, oh, I was the protector of the first user of One for All.
That is a very good point, and I think you're onto something there, because when we think back of when we finally reveal the second and third users, right? They saved One for All, forget his name, but the first user, they saved him because remember he was kidnapped and imprisoned by All for One. So it's like Bakugo and whoever's on the other end of that line could be in that same position. Could be a really good parallel, and them looking similar. It's just visual language, not them being related.
Right. Because I think if we do the related thing, you could slip into Naruto waters where it's just like, oh shit, stuff's get weird, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, the first user was related to Midoriya, like that. It would start getting kind of weird. But I think if you just kind of made that parallel in roles of the first three, And that was kind of like an established thing, like, oh, like the closest person to you is like the protector. And then in case you die, like you pass it on to that person. I think that would be a cool lore piece. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes when you make other people's great granddad, it's like, okay, that was just too coincidental.
It's one of the things I don't like about the ending of The Last Airbender. It's like, why did we have to make that a connection? It doesn't ruin it, but it's like, what was the point of that?
I don't know. Okay, but that one I liked it a lot. Like because it made Zuko's character even more powerful to have this like back and forth, even in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like that. I thought that was tasteful. I didn't like it in Naruto when it was just kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like descendants of the brothers. Like I did not like that at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think Avatar, I don't hate that happened, but it's kind of like something weird to throw in there the last 10 episodes. Naruto, I hated it. And I'm like, you almost ruined this series for me when you threw that in there.
That just got so problematic. Like, I don't know why they would shoehorn that in last minute. And I know it was kind of like like they reincarnate our chakra, but it was just kind of like going too far on linking their whole plans. Yeah.
Shall I be honest? Naruto felt at times if that mangaka made a Stephen King and he just wrote on the spot, he hadn't planned that out, so to speak, if I'm being completely honest.
I mean, it feels like it because it felt like they didn't know how to wrap up Madara because he had no apparent weaknesses. And it's like that just went on forever until we found a way to stop it.
I don't think it was even necessary to bring in Kaguya at all. Like Madara could have just been the whole series villain. I would have been cool with that.
He was so good.
I mean, if you wanted to incorporate her, sometimes she could have been. So that character could have been for Boruto if you have to make Boruto. So
Boruto is. Ugh, I don't even. I'm just gonna lay off that.
We just found Leo's Promised Neverland. You love to see it.
Yeah. You know what? I can fully admit to that because absorbing jutsus is against the whole fucking purpose of Naruto, man.
I don't know, man. Once Naruto was able to share his chakra with the entire battlefield, I'm just checked out at that point.
You know it's coming with One for All, though. Y'all know that's coming.
They already did that with Heroes Rising a little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, with this Heroes Rising, like they're gonna take this concept and he's gonna spread it to everyone, and then everybody is linked with One for All. Like it's gonna happen, y'all. I'm telling you.
I wouldn't be surprised if Deku can share his quirks. Like they don't get the full power, but it's like Shoto can get Black Whip. Uraraka can get Danger Sense, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that. That would be better than them all being little nine-tailed foxes.
Everybody's like a little like super strong
right.
and super quick little Deku.
But like him being able to break up the quirks, I think that's still probably going a little too far, but it's a little more manageable.
Imagine giving Bakugo Fajin.
Whew, oh, God. He'd be
unstoppable. What level a city, man? Like,
dude, no, it'd be worse than Kamino.
Right. You give Bakugo Fajin, and especially if his personality hasn't changed. Oh man.
He just yells, "Die, bastard!" Boom, world explodes.
Right? It's like, like half of the world is a crater now.
Oh, jeez. But yeah. That would be wild, and we gotta stamp this episode just in case something like that happens in the future, just so we can point back to it. It's like, see, Mike and Leo called it.
I think you're onto something though, Mike, because passing along the quirks, one of the quirks is to pass a quirk along, and that was the first user's quirk, and that's what made One for All. He got the stockpiling power from All for One, and then he had that hidden quirk to pass on quirks. So it's kind of like, okay, if he could pass on One for All to all these people, what if Deku can, essentially pass on Black Whip, can pass on Float, can pass on Danger Sense? Like, that would be super tight if just all of 1A had like 2 quirks and Deku was left with the super strength and like smaller versions of all those quirks.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick, honestly. And that would be also a good way of leveling the playing field, because something that we've said numerous times, whether it be the anime or the manga discussions, where Class A is falling behind him in power. And I feel like depowering Deku a little bit and increasing their power would be a pretty good way of introducing them back into the story.
Yeah, it wouldn't get a Dragon Ball Super issue when it's basically just Goku and Vegeta is the only one that can do something against the big bad guy. They go and try and stop them. And the rest of the C team is, they can't do jack shit, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, the Dragon Ball series is like the master of making characters useless as hell.
Yeah, like, I don't need Shoto to become Krillin.
Thank you. We don't need them to become the Z Warriors. Oh man, could you imagine if the second quirk was Explode and he gave that to Mineta? And those sticky little balls on his head exploded.
That'd be awesome, honestly. He'd become a fan favorite at that point, as long as he stops being pervy.
Hey, I will give a Super this though. They make a good use of all the characters in the last anime arc, at least.
So, with that, guy, you good, man?
I just dropped my mic. It's nothing more than that.
Okay. But yeah, guys, with that brings us to the end of chapter 318. Thanks for sticking it out with us. We did a little double time here, reviewing 2 episodes and 2 chapters. My Heroes anime and manga are on break, so we will be back in 2 weeks' time. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. Leo, thanks for joining us again. It's always fun doing these conversations.
Hell yeah, man. Always a good time, guys. Yeah. It seems like My Hero is going to... Next chapter just seems to be setting up how we're going to look at the series.
Yeah,
at by the end. But it sounds like Bakugo could have grown up a little on us, y'all. Like,
we think that, and I just want to throw this at you guys one more time. If Deku doesn't go with him, is it Deku versus Kacchan Part 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is.
I think that's what we're getting in the next couple chapters here. Unless Uraraka shows up and talks him down. But we know Ida doesn't mind punching Midoriya once in a while if he has to either.
And I'll be the first to say this and make this assumption, but if it is the 2 of them, Deku's gonna win. If it's just the 2 of them, Deku would beat him at this point.
I would think that, but Deku might pass out at this point.
What were you saying, Isaac?
With how exhausted he is, I wouldn't be so sure about Deku winning. Honestly.
Yeah, it's stacked where I can see Bakugo winning him just because it's an endurance test at this point, and Midoriya might pass out.
I don't know, Phil. Yeah, y'all probably right.
I mean, but yeah, like if they're both at full health and he's well rested, and he actually took that bento box All Might tried to give him, he'd smash him. Like Delaware smash him.
Oh my goodness, Mike. Wow, what kind of fan fictions you reading, buddy?
God. I was tricked into watching High School DxD, and that was the weirdest experience of my life.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That. Don't listen to coworkers when they recommend anime. Hey, that's all I have to say.
Hey, at least I gave you some serious suggestions that I believe you could enjoy.
Right. Anyway, we'll save High School DxD
I'm
for
not
another
joking. I think you
conversation.
could enjoy those.
I know. I'm adding them to the list. They're in my queue now. Leo, where can people find you online? And you got anything coming up this week? What's up?
Yeah, come on over to Geekly Goods on YouTube. This week I will have a review for Black Widow. And also got reactions coming up for Superman and Lois, the next episode of Loki, and I'm finally going to start My Hero reactions next Saturday. I've been kind of waiting, to be honest. Like, I've just been like going through the anime at my own leisure. But now that I'm finally like caught up and at a place where I can finally continue, I'll start doing those as well. So guys, tune into the channel, youtube.com/Geekly Goods, and then find me on Twitter at Leo Rydel.
Awesome. Can't wait for that Black Widow review. That's going to be boss.
Ooh, I'm so excited for that movie.
Nice. Guys, you can find me at Novice Cinephile on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and The Novice Cinephile on Instagram. I am also writing for Collider.com and WebamEntertainment.com and my own personal blog, NoviceCinephile.com, so you can check out my musings there. Also, my podcast with my friend John Matthews, Mike and John at the Movies. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. We are going to be reviewing The Tomorrow War, and I think John is going to be reviewing Fast 9. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also be reviewing Black Widow in a couple weeks. Isaac, where can people find you and the podcast?
Well, I can make an announcement to make that me and Brandon hopefully is recording another episode of Rurouni Kenshin, the latest live-action movie tomorrow. So look forward to that, hopefully. And I have also something planned for the 50 subs celebration that is going to be a treat. And it looks like I might get Brandon involved after all. So it will be, you will laugh at it. That's all I'm going to say. Leo and Mike know exactly what I'm talking about.
We do, and it's going to be hilarious.
And, well, you can find my work over at Wobam Entertainment. You can find me over at Emblemaniac with a C. And you can find the pod on, well, the amateur, like you see here, the Amateur Taco Pod. And you can find the pod on everything that where you can listen to pods, basically.
Awesome.
And,
guys, we found Brandon, by the
it.
way. I just want to say congratulations for finding Brandon. You had to go into the Speed Force and pull the guy out.
Yeah. And you can find him over at the Scarlet Fan on Twitter.
Yeah. We're happy to have him back. So good job for searching. The search for Brandon is now over.
And he hopes that he can return for the episode the next time.
If Brandon returns for the My Villain Academia arc, it is completely his fault that they rearranged the order.
Exactly.
All right, guys. That
it's
wraps
always
up
his fault. So.
It's always. No, we love you, man. Kidding. But that wraps up this episode of My Hero Academia. It always falls apart towards the end, guys. You know us by now. Thanks for listening. Go Beyond. Plus Ultra. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.